From the same people who sold the gold, we now present Labour's Britain, where grandparents shiver without winter fuel allowances, while Labour MPs enjoy free clothing, glasses, accommodation, and tickets. With over 11,000 illegal migrant crossings and counting, trade unions get every pay rise they demand while taxes go up for everyone else. Starring 𝒐𝒔 Keir robbing Rachel, Red Ed, and the impeccably dressed Angela. Produced by Lord Ali in partnership with the trade unions. Labour's Britain, out now.
Well, that was entertaining, but hey, you know what? It's all true. It's true. They've taken away the fuel allowance from 10 million pensioners, despite the fact we have the most expensive electricity prices and energy prices in the whole world. And it's true. They've taken suits, glasses, football tickets, you name it, despite saying they'd be a government that would come in and clean things up and give politics a completely different image. And it's true that immigration, both legal and illegal, is totally out of control. And it's certainly true that the trade unions have got massive pay rises whilst our taxes go up and our living standards actually are going down. Now look, reform would do all of this very differently. We know what we believe in. We know the net zero agenda is costing jobs. We know we're all paying too much money in tax. We know small businesses were being punished under the Conservatives and that it's going to get worse under Labour. But we also know that Keir Starmer and the others are far to the left of what they promised us. They have no genuine feeling for this country, certainly not for controlling its borders. Reform is the new politics. So please, get on board, join us, help us. Go to reformparty.uk.
Nigel Farage's recent video speech delves into a series of pressing concerns facing the UK today, touching on issues that reflect his long-standing political platform. Through a combination of criticisms directed at both the current government and the Labour opposition, Farage positions himself and the Reform Party as the alternative to what he perceives as a failing political establishment. The issues he raises: energy costs, immigration, government integrity, economic inequality, and environmental policies, are central to his argument that the UK is being misgoverned, with neither major party offering real solutions. One of the core issues Farage addresses is the removal of fuel allowances for pensioners. He laments that this cut comes at a time when the UK faces some of the highest electricity and energy prices in the world. Farage uses this example to highlight a broader cost of living crisis, particularly for vulnerable groups like the elderly. His critique taps into widespread public anxiety about rising living costs, a subject that has become increasingly relevant in the context of soaring energy prices in recent years. By pointing out that 10 million pensioners have lost their fuel allowances, Farage argues that the government's policies are neglecting those most affected by these rising costs. Farage also takes aim at government integrity, accusing politicians of failing to fulfill promises to clean up politics. He references perks like football tickets, suits, and glasses still being taken by officials despite promises of transparency and reform. This narrative of corruption and broken promises is a frequent theme in his political rhetoric, aiming to stoke disillusionment with the political establishment. By portraying the government as self-serving and hypocritical, Farage reinforces his message that the UK's traditional political parties cannot be trusted to act in the public interest. A key theme in Farage's speech is immigration, both legal and illegal. He reiterates his long-standing position that the UK's immigration system is totally out of control. This critique has been central to Farage's political identity for years, especially during his leadership of the Brexit campaign. By continuing to focus on immigration, he taps into concerns about border control and the perceived strain that high levels of immigration place on public services and national identity. With the UK still grappling with issues such as illegal channel crossings and debates about asylum seekers, Farage positions himself as a defender of strict border control, contrasting himself with both the Conservatives and Labour, who he claims are failing in this regard. Farage also touches on the issue of economic inequality, arguing that while our trade unions have secured massive pay rises, ordinary people are suffering from increasing taxes and declining living standards. This reflects a broader critique of the current economic system, where the benefits of growth are unevenly distributed, with some groups, such as trade unions, allegedly benefiting more than others. By highlighting this disparity, Farage seeks to appeal to the frustrations of working-class voters who feel left behind by current policies. Another central element of Farage's speech is his criticism of the net zero agenda, which he claims is costing jobs and raising taxes. His opposition to environmental policies that prioritize climate goals over economic growth is part of a broader populist critique of green policies. For Farage, the net zero agenda represents an unnecessary burden on small businesses and workers who he believes are already struggling under the weight of high taxes and slow growth. His message is likely to resonate with voters who are concerned that the transition to a green economy may come at too high a price, particularly in terms of job losses and economic slowdown. In addition to his critique of the current Conservative government, Farage also takes aim at Labour leader Keir Starmer, accusing him and his party of being too far to the left and failing to control immigration. This is consistent with Farage's effort to portray both of the major parties as unfit to govern, with neither offering genuine solutions to the problems facing the country. He argues that Labour's policies, particularly on immigration and national sovereignty, are far from what they promise voters, presenting Starmer as disconnected from the concerns of ordinary Britons. Farage concludes his speech by calling on his viewers to support the Reform Party, which he presents as the only viable alternative to the current political establishment. His message is clear. The major parties have failed, and the Reform Party offers a fresh approach to the issues of immigration, economic reform, and national sovereignty. By urging people to get on board with the Reform Party, Farage aims to consolidate support for his populist vision, appealing to those who feel disillusioned by both Labour and the Conservatives. In the current political climate, where issues like immigration, the cost of living, and government integrity are high on the agenda, Farage's message is likely to resonate with a significant portion of the electorate. His focus on these key issues, combined with his critique of both major parties, positions him as a voice for those who feel left behind by the UK's political and economic system. By championing the Reform Party, Farage seeks to offer a political home for those disillusioned with mainstream politics, positioning himself once again as a key figure in the UK's populist right.
If the Prime Minister was a pensioner earning £11,350 this year and receiving no winter fuel payment, what would he prioritise this Christmas? Heating or eating?
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, we have to be clear why this decision is being made. A £22 billion black hole. And the previous government would walk past these tough decisions, pretend it wasn't there, put it in the long grass. We're not prepared to do that. Because we're taking tough decisions, we can commit to the triple lock, and that means that the state pension will increase by more than any loss of the winter payment allowance. But I would just say this, the biggest impact on pensioners in recent years was when they lost control of inflation, when they allowed energy prices to go through the roof, and we went through a cost of living crisis. We're stabilising the economy to make sure pensioners never ever have to live through that again.
The government warns of a $22 billion black hole in public finances, but has added another $22 billion in spending, worsening the deficit to $44 billion. $10 billion of this is due to unsustainable public sector pay rises since Starmer took office. Instead of addressing the root causes, they rely on borrowed funds, risking deeper financial instability. Labour's ambitious spending plans could further stretch the deficit, leading to higher taxes and cuts to services. Thanks for watching, and be sure to join the free Telegram group linked in the description, where we can talk freely and uncensored about important issues like this and support each other. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and become a channel member for exclusive content. See you next time.